Imagine the headline: Malaysia quits ASEAN. Pure shock, disbelief. It's a headline that would stop everyone in their tracks. What would it mean for this vibrant nation? What about its neighbors? This isn't just news, it's a seismic event. Such a departure would send tremors across Southeast Asia. It might even ripple across the entire globe. It is a scenario almost too dramatic to consider. But let us explore it. We need to understand what such a decision could unleash, not just for politicians but for everyday people who call this region home. The very fabric of regional relations could be altered. This exploration is a thought experiment. It is not a prediction of doom, nor is it a wish for such an event. Instead, asking what if helps us. It helps us understand the true value of what exists today. Sometimes we only appreciate things when we imagine losing them. Malaysia is a cornerstone of ASEAN. Its hypothetical exit would force a deep re-evaluation for everyone involved. We learn by considering such possibilities. This exercise is about appreciating the delicate balance of cooperation. It is about recognizing the foundations of our current stability and prosperity, which are often taken for granted. ASEAN is the bedrock of stability in Southeast Asia. Think of it as a close-knit community of nations. They work together on many fronts. They trade with each other. They try to resolve disagreements peacefully. They aim for shared prosperity. Malaysia leaving this community would be like a key family member abruptly walking out, an empty chair at the table. The resulting silence would be deafening. The questions would be immediate and urgent. For decades, ASEAN has been a symbol of hope and progress, a model for regional integration in many parts of the world. In this essay, we will delve into this what if. We will look at the possible chain reactions. How would economies react? What political shifts might occur? How would ordinary people feel? This journey will show us the deep connections in our modern world. Ultimately, it will underscore why international cooperation is not just a good idea, it is vital for our collective peace and progress. Let's begin this exploration into a hypothetical, yet instructive scenario. The implications are vast, touching upon many aspects of life in this dynamic part of the world. What exactly is ASEAN? The letters stand for the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. It was born in 1967, a time of uncertainty in the region. The founding leaders shared a bold vision for the future. They wanted to build lasting peace among their countries. They aimed for shared economic growth and social progress. They wanted to replace conflict with cooperation, dialogue, and mutual understanding. It began with just 5 countries: Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. Today it has grown into a group of 10 vibrant member states, a testament to its enduring appeal and remarkable success over the decades. Malaysia holds a special place in ASEAN's history. It was one of the original 5 founding members. This fact is profoundly important. It signifies Malaysia's deep commitment from day one. For over 5 decades, Malaysia has been an active, influential voice within the association. It has consistently guided discussions on critical issues. It has hosted crucial summits and ministerial meetings. It has helped craft key ASEAN policies and initiatives. Think of Malaysia as a wise and respected elder in this regional family, consistently contributing its strength, its unique perspective, and its unwavering vision for a united Southeast Asia. Malaysia's importance to ASEAN is multifaceted. Geographically, it is strategically located. It sits at the very heart of Southeast Asia, a crossroads of cultures and commerce. It shares land and maritime borders with many ASEAN neighbors, fostering close ties. Critically, it helps oversee parts of the Straits of Malacca. This is one of the world's busiest and most important shipping lanes, vital for global trade. Economically, Malaysia is a dynamic trading partner within the bloc. Its diversified economy, ranging from advanced manufacturing and technology to popular tourism and resource-based industries, significantly boosts regional wealth and interconnectedness. Beyond hard economics and strategic geography, Malaysia contributes immense cultural value to the ASEAN community. It is a proudly multicultural and multi-religious nation. This rich tapestry of cultures mirrors the incredible diversity of ASEAN itself. Malaysia has frequently served as a consensus builder and a moderating influence within the group. It has a well-earned talent for bridging different perspectives and finding common ground. Its diplomatic skills and pragmatic approach are a valuable asset for regional harmony and effective decision-making. Losing Malaysia would mean losing this crucial influence and its unique contributions to ASEAN's collective character and strength. Picture the moment Malaysia announces its departure from ASEAN. News alerts would flash across smartphones and television screens worldwide. Global financial markets would react instantly and negatively. The Malaysian ringgit, the national currency, would likely face intense selling pressure from worried investors. Investors abhor uncertainty above all else. This unprecedented move would inject a massive shockwave of it into the regional system. Regional stock exchanges, especially in closely linked economies such as Singapore, Thailand, and Indonesia, would also experience sharp declines. A day of crisis calls and emergency government meetings would undoubtedly unfold across Southeast Asian capitals. For Malaysia itself, the initial days and weeks would be fraught with considerable confusion and economic disruption. Businesses heavily reliant on ASEAN's established free trade agreements would be thrown into disarray. Critical questions would emerge. What are the new rules for trade? Are there sudden tariffs on our exported goods? Complex regional supply chains built up over years of integration could snap or become severely impaired. Imagine a Malaysian factory that exports vital components to assembly plants in Vietnam or Thailand. Suddenly the seamless, predictable process they depended on vanishes. They would face new bureaucratic hurdles, unexpected operational costs, or perhaps even a temporary halt to their business activities. Among other ASEAN nations, the immediate response would be one of profound shock and deep, widespread concern. Diplomatic phone lines between regional capitals would burn hot. Leaders would urgently seek to understand the underlying reasons behind such a drastic and unexpected move. They would also scramble to try and contain the inevitable fallout. ASEAN operates on the cherished principle of consensus and solidarity. Losing a member, particularly a highly respected founding one like Malaysia, would severely shake this core tenet of the association. Worries about ASEAN's own future cohesion and international standing would inevitably surface. Is the bloc weakening from within? The free movement of people, a significant benefit of ASEAN integration, could also face instant and disruptive changes. Many Malaysians currently work, study, or live in other ASEAN countries. Likewise, many ASEAN nationals from neighboring countries reside and contribute in Malaysia. Special ASEAN visa privileges and streamlined immigration procedures which facilitate this movement might suddenly become void or suspended. Students pursuing their education abroad on ASEAN scholarships could find their academic futures thrown into uncertainty. The ease of travel for tourism or family visits, something many ASEAN citizens now take for granted, could become far more complicated and costly overnight. This directly and negatively impacts everyday lives. Economically, Malaysia exiting ASEAN would inflict considerable damage. This damage would be felt acutely by Malaysia itself, and also significantly by the remaining ASEAN members. The ASEAN Free Trade Area, or AFTA, creates a vast integrated market, fostering immense economic activity. Malaysian companies currently enjoy privileged, often tariff-free access to a combined market of over 650 million consumers across Southeast Asia. Leaving this highly beneficial arrangement would mean needing to renegotiate numerous bilateral trade deals from scratch. This is an incredibly complex, time-consuming, and often politically difficult process. Malaysian exports could face new tariffs and non-tariff barriers, making them less competitive in their traditional regional markets. Within Malaysia, key industries would face significant headwinds and potential decline. Consider vital sectors such as palm oil production, electronics manufacturing, automotive parts, and tourism, all of which are heavily reliant on open access to ASEAN markets. These sectors could experience a sharp and sustained decline in demand from regional partners. This, in turn, could unfortunately lead to business closures, reduced investment, and substantial job losses for many Malaysian workers. Foreign direct investment might also slow down considerably. International companies often choose Malaysia as a stable and efficient hub precisely to access the broader ASEAN region. If that strategic advantage disappears, Malaysia becomes a less compelling investment destination. Politically, Malaysia's influence and standing on the regional and global stage would likely diminish. ASEAN provides a crucial collective platform for smaller and medium-sized nations to amplify their voices and exert greater influence on international affairs. Standing alone, Malaysia might find it more challenging to make its views heard effectively on pressing global issues, from climate change to trade negotiations. Within ASEAN itself, Malaysia's departure could create an unwelcome power vacuum. Other member states might seek to increase their own influence to fill this gap, potentially leading to new internal rivalries or heightened tensions among the remaining members. The carefully maintained regional balance could be seriously disturbed. For the remaining ASEAN countries, the economic repercussions would also be notable and widespread. Malaysia is an important consumer market for their goods and services. It is also a vital link in many sophisticated regional supply chains, particularly in manufacturing and commodities. Other ASEAN economies would need to adapt to these sudden disruptions, perhaps by finding alternative markets or reconfiguring their supply networks, which takes time and resources. Politically, ASEAN's international credibility as a cohesive and effective regional organization could suffer significant damage. It might be perceived by external powers as less stable or less unified than before, potentially undermining its diplomatic leverage on the world stage. Malaysia's theoretical departure from ASEAN would not be a purely regional affair. Its consequences would inevitably ripple outwards, affecting wider international dynamics and perceptions. ASEAN, as a united bloc, engages substantively with major global powers and economic blocs. It participates in important high-level dialogues like the ASEAN Plus 3, which includes China, Japan, and South Korea, as well as the influential East Asia Summit. Malaysia's absence from these forums would undoubtedly weaken ASEAN's collective negotiating stance and its overall diplomatic weight in these critical international arenas. Global trade patterns could shift as nations and businesses reassess their engagement strategies with a potentially fragmented and less predictable Southeast Asian economic zone. Consider the strategically vital Straits of Malacca. This narrow waterway, flanked by Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore, is one of the busiest and most critical shipping lanes on the planet. A huge percentage of global trade, especially essential energy supplies like oil and liquefied natural gas, passes through it daily. Malaysia plays a cornerstone role, in close cooperation with its neighbors, in ensuring the security, safety, and smooth navigation of the straits. If Malaysia were to step back from established regional security cooperation frameworks, many of which are linked with ASEAN, it could introduce new elements of uncertainty and potential risk to this vital maritime choke point, concerning nations worldwide. Regional security in Southeast Asia is a delicate, often complex, interconnected web of relationships and understandings. ASEAN has served as an essential, if sometimes imperfect, platform for dialogue and confidence building on highly sensitive issues. The ongoing and multifaceted South China Sea disputes are a prime example of this. ASEAN provides a unique multilateral forum where all claimant states, including Malaysia and other interested external parties, can discuss these complex territorial and maritime matters, hopefully reducing tensions. Malaysia is one of the claimant states in these disputes. Its withdrawal from ASEAN could complicate these already fragile diplomatic processes and potentially embolden more assertive actions if regional solidarity is perceived to be significantly eroded. Moreover, the international perception of Southeast Asia as a stable, predictable, and attractive region for investment and partnership could be negatively impacted. A fractured ASEAN, demonstrably diminished by the loss of a key and founding member, might lead global businesses and international investors to adopt a more cautious, wait-and-see approach. The ASEAN Miracle, a widely acknowledged story of sustained regional peace and impressive collective economic growth that has been admired around the world, could lose some of its hard-earned luster. This could have far-reaching, long-term consequences for the economic development prospects and overall stability of all countries in the region, not just Malaysia. International trust is incredibly hard-earned, and unfortunately, very easily damaged. Imagine you are a Malaysian citizen hearing this shocking news for the first time. A wave of confusion and deep anxiety would surely sweep across the nation almost immediately. People would naturally worry about their jobs, the security of their savings, and the overall future direction of their country. Families with relatives working hard or pursuing education in other ASEAN nations would face immediate personal concerns and uncertainties. Social media platforms would undoubtedly ignite with a torrent of questions, strong opinions from all sides, and perhaps even widespread expressions of fear and apprehension. National pride might clash with a sudden unsettling feeling of isolation from a familiar regional community. In the neighboring ASEAN countries, the reaction among ordinary people would be equally potent and emotional. Many citizens across the Southeast Asian region have cherished friends, beloved family members, or important business connections and partnerships in Malaysia. They share deep and abiding cultural affinities, a mutual love for similar foods and traditions, and sometimes even common linguistic roots that transcend national borders. A profound sense of sadness, maybe even a feeling akin to betrayal or deep disappointment, could emerge among these neighbors. Are we no longer considered part of the same regional family? They might ask themselves and each other. The simple joy of a weekend shopping trip to Kuala Lumpur or a beach holiday in Langkawi might suddenly seem complicated or less welcoming. National identity and regional identity are not mutually exclusive concepts. In many cases, they can and do complement each other harmoniously. Many Malaysians proudly identify as both Malaysian first and foremost, and also in a broader sense as citizens of the ASEAN community. This hypothetical severing of formal ties would necessitate a difficult emotional and psychological adjustment for many individuals. It could spark intense internal debates within Malaysia itself about its true place and its future role in the wider world. Some citizens might support such a decision, perhaps believing it offers a unique path forward or greater national autonomy. However, many others would likely mourn the loss of regional camaraderie and the tangible benefits of close cooperation. The psychological blow to the long-term project of ASEAN community building would be immense and far-reaching. For decades, ASEAN has diligently and patiently worked to foster a sense of shared identity, a we feeling, among its diverse peoples and cultures. An event as jarring and significant as Malaysia's departure would represent a considerable setback to this noble and ambitious vision. It would serve as a stark and unwelcome reminder to everyone that regional unity is a precious and often fragile achievement. It requires continuous effort, mutual understanding, and constant nurturing from all members. The emotional bonds and trust, once fractured on such a scale, are exceptionally difficult to mend fully and quickly. This extended thought experiment, imagining Malaysia's hypothetical departure from ASEAN, offers a powerful and sobering lesson for all nations. It clearly illuminates the often underestimated risks and profound costs associated with division and fragmentation in an interconnected world. When a nation chooses to step away from its established regional family, the consequences extend far beyond government offices, diplomatic statements, and economic statistics. Such a move directly touches the lives and livelihoods of ordinary people across borders. It breeds uncertainty, fosters instability, and can quickly unravel the intricate tapestry of cooperation that may have taken decades of patient effort to weave together. Trust, once broken, is incredibly challenging to restore. The manifold benefits of regional cooperation, as exemplified by the ASEAN community, are truly immense and often pervasive. Frequently, these advantages operate quietly and seamlessly in the background of our daily lives, sometimes taken for granted. We enjoy the privilege of visa-free travel within much of the region, facilitating tourism, business, and family connections. Our businesses and consumers benefit from reduced trade barriers, leading to more competitive pricing and a wider variety of goods and services. Crucially, our region has enjoyed an unprecedented period of relative peace and stability, precisely because member countries prioritize dialogue, diplomacy, and peaceful dispute resolution over conflict. These are not trivial achievements, they are vital. In our increasingly complex and deeply interconnected global village, no single nation, regardless of its individual size or inherent strength, can truly flourish in complete isolation from its neighbors and the wider world. Pressing global challenges, such as effectively combating climate change, managing and preventing pandemics, promoting sustainable development, and navigating recurrent economic crises, demand collective, coordinated international responses. Regional organizations like ASEAN serve as vital building blocks for effective global governance and problem-solving. They empower member countries to pool their diverse strengths, share burdens equitably, and address common problems with far greater impact and resources than any single nation could hope to achieve alone. Therefore, the narrative of a hypothetical Malaysia shockwave and its potential fallout concludes with an unambiguous and vitally important message for our times. Unity, solidarity, and sustained teamwork among nations are not merely lofty ideals or abstract diplomatic niceties. They are, in fact, fundamental prerequisites for achieving sustainable peace, fostering widespread prosperity, and enabling meaningful human progress for all. The ASEAN journey, with all its acknowledged imperfections and ongoing challenges, still stands as a compelling testament to what can be positively accomplished when nations deliberately choose the path of cooperation over the inherent perils of conflict and isolation. Let us sincerely hope that such a shockwave remains firmly confined to the realm of imagination and cautionary tales.